This is Trinesha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about forgiving yourself. So, what made me want to talk about forgiving yourself is earlier today I was listening to the sermon, and I don't know if I have all my notes in here, but I'll try to go back to them so that way I won't miss anything. And so, as I'm sitting earlier and I'm just playing this sermon before work, and I hear this pastor talk about pain. No, it was after work because I had just gotten off and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make my smoothie because I had worked out on my lunch break and then I didn't get a chance to make my smoothie until later. So after work, I'm listening to the sermon and the pastor's talking about pain. He's like, if you are single, you need to hear this sermon. And this is how he starts off. He's like, if you are in a relationship, you need to hear this sermon 2 to 3 times. But he goes through and he talks about all of these different messages about people in the Bible. And of course, the first person that he talks about is Daniel. And he talks about Daniel in the lion's den and him having faith and God bringing him through that. And much like Daniel, he's saying that we also need to have faith even when we're in situations where it seems like we can't make it out of there. And then also, when it comes to choosing people, he said choosing someone or being with someone is one of the most important decisions that you can make in your life because that person will be a reflection of you, or they'll be the type of person who can build you up or bring you down. And so when you choose to have someone be a part of your life, it's not just oh, okay, this is just a relationship. It's like, oh, okay, this is kingdom. Or, oh, okay, this is something that can add or take away from my life. So it's not a game. Like people play games and they try to pretend like it's really not that serious, but you see people cry over relationships. You see people do crazy stuff over relationships, or people change their whole personality because of a relationship. So it's not just oh, whatever, it's just a game. No, people matter. People's feelings matter. The person matters. So I don't understand why we try to pretend like it's insignificant, like it's some kind of small, minute thing within our entire spectrum of life. No, this is a massive thing because relationships isn't just a romantic thing. It's the type of people that we hang around. It's the type of people that we decide to get to be a part of our lives. Family, friends, spouses or partners or whatever else it is. Those are people who shape your life. And we don't like to look at it like that. Sometimes we like to say, oh no, they're not affecting me. I'm gonna still do me. Or I hear people say all of these cliche terms, but that's not reality. There's this person that says that you are the sum of most of the people that you hang around. And it's true because even if you're a good person, if you hang around all bad people, eventually you're going to do something bad. Most of the time, the bad things rub off on the good person more than the good things rub off on the bad person. Sometimes it could be some stuff that rubs off on a bad person, but more than likely, when you are in a group of people who are doing the wrong thing, you're going to end up doing the wrong thing because instead of you focusing and saying, oh, there's all of these other avenues I could go, now you feel like this is the only resort. This is the only option for my life. And we could try to make it seem like it's no big thing. We could try to make it seem like it's nothing, but it really does matter. It really is one of the most important decisions that you make in your life because it's not just about you sometimes. Sometimes it's about your friends. Like you pick a person and the next thing you know, this spouse or partner can ruin a whole friendship. Sometimes you pick a person and that person can ruin your focus on your future. They can ruin your purpose. That person can change you into somebody who becomes insecure and jealous. You could become somebody that you're not. And you're not even that person, or God never intended you to be that person, but because you're with this other person, they're shaping your perspective of yourself. They're making you believe that you're something that you're not. And you only are who God says you are. You're not who a person says that you are. So when you're picking someone or you're allowing someone to be a part of your life, it has to be someone that's speaking life into you. It's funny because hopefully my daughter doesn't mind me saying this, but we are in the car and she's like, Mom, when you just did that, that was so weird. She's like, I can't wait till you get with somebody. And then we can both say how weird that was. And I was like, nope. I said, because the next person that comes into our life is going to be somebody that we're both speaking life into each other. I'm not trying to have someone around who is trying to not see me win, or somebody who's trying to diminish my character or try to put me down. I want to make sure that whoever is a part of my life is speaking life into me. I want to make sure that that person is on my team. I don't need an enemy or an opponent. I need somebody who's on the same team. You know what I'm saying? So, I only say that as an example because I think it's so important for us to understand how important that is, how important it is to choose the right people to be a part of your life. And that's friends as well. You don't want to just be with a group of people who are all doing the wrong thing. You don't want to be having friends around you who only want to bring drama to you or only want to put you down or only want to, every time you say, oh, I'm going to start a business. Oh, I'm going to start a business too. Every time you say, I'm going to go do this, they're, oh, I'm going to do this too. They can never give you the kudos or the acknowledgement that not every blessing is for both of you. Sometimes it's just for them or it's just for you. And I'm not saying that that person can't get blessed off of your blessings. I'm just saying that sometimes I really feel like we need a group of people around us that's like, oh, yeah, that's you right there. Like, I actually had a point in my life, and I feel like I could say this because I'm being transparent, but it would be like this person that was a part of like my friend group or family or whatever else, and it would be this guy or something, and we'd both be like, oh my gosh, this guy's cute. And instead of me saying, oh yeah, that's all you, it would turn into like a thing where we were competing. Like we were both like trying to like not get the attention of the guy, but we were both trying to like be like, oh yeah, like we'll see who he chooses. But that's not a good thing to do at all. And so it would be like, we'd always it's so childish, but I'm glad that we were younger when we did that. And even like for attention, like sometimes I would do that in the past, and I would just be like, oh, and I know people are gonna like be so mad at me for saying that, and they're gonna judge me so harshly, but it's okay. I feel like I can be transparent because that's real. And there's a lot of women that do that because you have that scarcity mindset where you feel like you're gonna miss out on your thing because someone else is getting something. But God will never bless someone with something that was for you. He would never give someone something that he intended to be a part of your life or someone that he intended for you. If that person was intended for you, they would be with you. They're not going to be with somebody else. And you don't have to go all out and do the most to try to prove to someone that you're enough because they will already be pursuing you. You will already be their choice. It's not, God will put it on their heart that you are for them. You're not going to have to try to go up against 12 other people or against some other woman or some other man or whatever else it is for the person that's for you or the job that's for you. It's not going to be I'm not talking about places that make you compete for a position. I'm not talking about places like that. And even then, if the job is for you, if God wanted you to be there, sorry, I got like this nasal inflammation thing going on again. So, if this job is for you, regardless of what the other person does, if you are doing the best that you can, you will get the job because God intended you to be there. It's not like you're going to have to compete for all of these things in the world because what God has for you is for you. Nobody else could take that away from you. And that's one of the things that I didn't know when I was younger, when I was coming up, when I was in my toxic relationship. I really felt like I had to be in competition. Like it had to be like and I only felt this way, I truly believe, because I didn't get God's approval on it. Whenever I don't get God's approval, I start to feel a little insecure. I start to feel like, oh, well, God didn't give me 100% yes, or he didn't say yes to this. So now I feel like I have to do the most to prove that I'm good enough, or I have to do the most to prove that this is me, or this is for me, instead of just letting God let things be the way that they're supposed to be. And I know I'm not the only person that feels that way. People are probably going to judge me like, what? I would never. Oh, if that was me, girl, if people really talk a good game when they're not in the situation. But we have to be real with ourselves and think about the last time you did something or why you did something. And nobody else has to know about it. This is just for you to think about so you can do some real work, inner work on yourself so that you can really figure out how to be a better person in the future. Because, me and my friend, family member in the past, that wasn't a good look for me because if I was her, I would never want me to be around any person that she would ever be with because I would feel like I'm going to always have to be in competition, even if the thing is for her, because it's rude, it's disrespectful, it's really childish on my part, and that's not the way that I want to be as a woman. That's not the person that I want to present myself as, especially since I know God more, especially since I'm building a closer relationship with God. And now I know that everything for me is for me. It's no reason for me to do anything extra. Like, it's no reason for me to go all out of the way. It's no reason to have to prove that I'm good enough just because I've been through a bunch of toxic relationships. Like, I don't have to prove anything to anybody except God, just to prove that I'm faithful and that He could trust me. And that's it. So, anyone else's opinion, unfortunately, doesn't matter. I don't want to say unfortunately. I care about people a lot. But when it comes to what people think about me, as long as I'm doing the best that I can and God is pleased with me, I know I'm doing everything the right way. I know I'm doing what I need to be doing. And so I know I said that, and I might not post this video because of that. I probably will, just in case my friend, family member, person actually watches this, then she'll know. Like, I have apologized for it in the past because it was real childish. And I don't know why. Like, in my head, it was like, well, she does the same thing, but that's not an excuse. I'm older. I'm supposed to be more mature than that, you know? And so, just like with me really working on myself and just trying to be a better person, I know that I need to do better. And regardless of how I act in the past, that's not the person I am today. And I don't want to ever come off as that person. I want to be the type of person who people can see as like trying to speak life into someone else. And because of that, because like I don't know if that's going to affect like my family member, friends. I keep saying it like that, but I don't know if that's going to influence her relationship with God, because she's like, oh, if this is what God is like, then I don't want any part of it. Like you never know who you're going to influence. And I don't want to be the reason why I stopped her relationship with God because I was being immature, you know? So I just want to say that because I know there's a lot of women that do that. And there's a lot of men that do the same thing in a different way. And I think it's really time for us to grow up. It's time for us to take responsibility to look ourselves in the mirror and see the person that we want to be, and not just feel like everything is like so so scarce. Like, we don't need to have this scarcity mindset of there's only one thing left. Like, oh no, we'll never get it now. Like, God has plenty of blessings. He has plenty of people, especially for the people that aspire to be in a relationship. He is not just going to give someone else your husband just because he wants to make you feel badly. Like, God wants you to have joy and peace in your life. So if God's passing out husbands, your husband is right around the corner. Like, it's no reason for you to fret. Just stay faithful and stay focused on God. Do what you got to do in your life. Don't even worry about that person. She's with this guy. That means that she was grace for him. Or maybe, neither one of y'all are grace for him, but at least you don't have to deal with him. So don't just feel like you're missing out on something all the time, because God never made just one thing so that you could miss out on all the blessings that He has for you. He made plenty of blessings. He's the God of abundance. So it's blessings on blessings on. I don't know why I did that, but it's like a whole bunch of blessings. It's not just one. And so, oh my gosh, I'm going to be judged for that too, but it's fine. I'm not editing it out. So, yeah, it's just going to be blessings on blessings on blessings on blessings on blessings. And you're going to be like, oh, okay, like, I mean, that's the thing that really helped me while I'm like stepping into faith and all that. Knowing that God is the God of abundance and He has more than one thing to give out allows me to feel secure, because I don't ever feel like I'm missing out on anything because I'm not with this guy or that guy. Now, I get my feelings hurt if someone doesn't like me sometimes? Yeah, that's a normal human nature. I don't think that's anything wrong with that, because you have every right to feel the way you feel. What's wrong with it is when you set in something. You allow it to consume you. You allow it to reframe your mindset and make you believe that you're not who God said you were. That's the thing that makes it inconvenient, and makes you seem like your significance is desolate. You are important. You matter to God. God would never take you this far just to leave you. He would never bring you through all the things you've been in life just so that you could stay at where you are and not give you anything else. God knows what you did in the past. You might be beating yourself up, but that's Satan. That's not God. God would never want to make you feel guilty for the past. He wants you to know that He could use anything that you've done and turn it into a blessing. He does not want you to be sitting there beating yourself up. And so, as I thought about that, let me see. I think I wrote down what the pastor said. I don't know if I wrote it in here or I wrote it in my notebook. I think I wrote it in my notebook. I got both of them, so I'm ready. So he said, whew, this was like a whole word. He said, pain can become a thief that doesn't just hurt you, it robs you. I'm going to say it again. He said, pain can become a thief that doesn't just hurt you, it robs you. And it's so true, because that pain can make you believe that you don't ever need to be you can never be in a relationship ever again. That pain will make you feel like you'll never be able to choose the right person ever again. That pain will make you feel like you can't be vulnerable with the right people. That pain will make you put up borders in places that God's trying to send you blessings. That pain will make you believe that you're not the person who God intended you to be. That pain will stop you from having the confidence that you need in every area of your life in order to succeed. I think it's really important for us to look within ourselves and see what that pain has done to us. And earlier today, I had a moment of reflection where I really thought about what the pain from my past has done to me. And I know, like, I go to counseling and I've talked about a lot of the issues, and I wrote the book that has my missteps in it, and it talks about a lot of the things that I went through in the past. But today I really looked at it from a different perspective. I looked at it as just me, not just the other people who are a part of my life, but just me. And I started to think about what I need to do to move on. And God put in my spirit that I needed to forgive myself. I know it sounds so weird, but it made sense because I was really holding on to, I might cry, but it's okay. I haven't cried in like the last one or two videos, so I think it's time for one. Time for a tear. But no, so when I was sitting there and I was thinking about the pain from the past, I really started to think about how I could forgive myself. And when God dropped it on my spirit, what I started doing was I made a list of things that I had done in the past, and I started forgiving myself for each thing. I started forgiving myself for the fact that I felt like I didn't have a father when God was there for me, when I did have a father in my life. I started to forgive myself for some of the past trauma that I went through when I was just a kid, and I wouldn't have known any differently. I started to forgive myself for going into toxic relationships before I knew what a toxic relationship was. I started to forgive myself for choosing certain people, for letting people slide, or just not standing up for myself in certain areas of my life in the past. I started forgiving myself for all of the decisions that I've made that have been replaying in my mind that the adversary tries to use against me. I started to forgive myself for all of the bad decisions that I've ever made in my entire life. And as I started to say, I forgive you, and I put my name in it. So I think this is something everybody should do. Make a list of all the things that you've done wrong. I know it sounds counterproductive, but it really did help me. Make a list of everything in life that you've done wrong. Everything. Everything that's on your mind. You don't have to go through like year one, I didn't walk by such and such age. Like don't do that. But like the things that keep replaying in your mind, the things that make you feel guilty, the things that keep on recycling, that cynicism that keeps penetrating your mind to make you not believe in yourself. Those are the things that I want you to put on this list. And as you go down the list, name every single thing and say, whatever your name is, I forgive you for the toxic relationship. I forgive you for not standing up for yourself in this scenario. I forgive you for feeling like you were all alone when there were people around you that loved you. I forgive you for not leaving sooner. I forgive you for doing a lot of things prematurely. I forgive you for wanting to wanting to be in a relationship but not being vulnerable enough to be in one. I forgive you for putting up walls because you felt like you could never trust anybody ever again, and you didn't know if you could ever be vulnerable ever again. And then I started to say, it's okay. I said, it's okay that you wanted to be in a relationship even though it was too soon. It's okay that you weren't ready to be in a relationship yet, even though other people were saying it's been such and such time, or keep, introducing people to you, or you keep meeting people. It's okay to take however long it is that you need to take. It's okay. It's okay. And I said, I forgive you. I forgive you, Trinesha. I forgive myself. And then I stated that you deserve better than that. And I felt this immense pressure lift off of my shoulders. Like I have been holding on to and harboring this resentment towards myself all of this time that I didn't even know existed. And it felt so exuberating, exhilarating. It felt amazing. It felt like finally the thing that was holding me back was letting me go. Like anything that Satan could say to me now, I've already forgiven myself for. Anytime that cynicism or negative thoughts run through my mind, it won't be able to penetrate as deeply as it used to. It won't be able to stop me from my purpose because there's going to be nothing holding me back now. In the moments when I get the most momentum and I feel like I'm so focused on my life and I get that phone call or that text or I see the person or I go somewhere and I'm reminded of some of the decisions I've made in the past, I'll remember that I forgave myself. That thing no longer has hold on me. That thing is no longer going to burden my life. That thing is no longer gonna stop me from walking into my purpose. And I think that's what every person should do. Take a moment and just forgive yourself. I know we always talk about forgiving other people. Forgive this person for hurting you. Forgive that person for doing this thing. Forgive them for yourself. And yes, you should do that as well. And after you've forgiven them for everything, forgive yourself. Because I know if you're the type of woman who's like, I'd never do that, and then you found yourself in a relationship where someone hurt you, you found yourself in a relationship where, or in a friendship where the friend wasn't a good friend to you, or somebody used you, or someone tricked you, or someone took advantage of you, and you felt like, how could this happen to me when I would never let anybody do any of these things? Because you thought that you were stronger than that, or you didn't know. You can't help something that you didn't know. You do the best that you can until you know better, and then you do better. Like Maya Angelou said, you can't just expect yourself to be perfect and make all the best decisions. I thought that when I started like dating, or if I like met new people, I would just be like on it. I would be 100% perfect, doing all the right things, having these standards and boundaries, and no one would ever like manipulate me or make me feel any type of way ever again. But that's not what happened. I was vulnerable because of my emotions. I hadn't forgiven myself yet. I felt like if I've been tricked once, what's going to stop me from being taken advantage of again? I felt like I couldn't be vulnerable with the right people. I felt like I just put up these walls and I started saying things that I knew would push people away because I wasn't ready. And I hurt people that I didn't even intend on hurting because I just wasn't ready. That's why you should really take the time to heal, because even when, like, I'm a good person, I think I'm a good person, I try to be a good person, and so even for me, I still ended up hurting some people because I really thought that I could be ready. I thought that I was ready and I wasn't. And even though it's hard, even though that was never my intention, I did hurt people. And so I really encourage you to just take the time that you need to heal. It doesn't matter if it's a day, a month, or a few years, or 10 years, or however long you need. There is no time limit on your healing. There isn't. And people might say, just get over it. Oh, it's been such time since you've been with somebody or whatever else, or try to push people on you. But you have to make sure that you go at your own pace. You can't do it at someone else's pace. This is your life. This is not their life. And you being with someone prematurely or allowing someone to have access to you prematurely is not doing anything but hurting the other person, and is opening an old wound. You won't be able to properly heal if the scab hasn't even covered the whole wound. You have to make sure that you allow that to scab over and heal before you even go into a scenario where you even allow your mind or your heart or your soul to even have access to anything else. So, in conclusion, forgive yourself, because every time you don't forgive yourself, that guilt is going to eat you up. That guilt is going to stop you from your purpose. It's going to stop you from your dreams. It's going to stop you from the things that God is placing on your heart, the vision that He's giving you, the dreams that you have. You won't be able to walk it all the way through, because there will be that thing in your mind saying that you're not good enough because you allowed certain things to happen in your life, but you don't know what you don't know. You can't just beat yourself up for that. And you're not going to be perfect in every situation. When you meet new people, some people are going to get away with things. That's just the way it goes. You can't always be on it, especially when you really like somebody or whatever else. You can't expect yourself to just have the perfect reaction or say the perfect things. You're going to mess up because you're human. You're going to make mistakes because you're human. And the best thing that you could do for yourself is forgive yourself. Tell yourself that it's okay. Make your list of all the things that you've been beating yourself up about, all the things that you've been harboring in your heart that have been holding you back from what God has for you. The person, the job, the friends, whatever else it is. You might have messed up one time in a friendship. That doesn't mean that you don't deserve good friends. That means that you learn a lesson from that and you don't treat anyone else like that ever again. In a relationship, you know that you don't want anything unhealthy. Just because you didn't stick to a standard one time does not mean that every person is going to get away with everything. That just means that you just have to be more intentional, and you have to learn from that and then use that for the future, so that when you meet new people or whatever else, you are better, you are stronger, you are more confident in yourself. Your confidence is only weary because of your past. If you forgive yourself for your past, in the future, you will be unstoppable, especially with God on your side. So continue to work on yourself. Continue to allow yourself to heal. I gotta go because my food is done. I'm making dinner. So allow yourself to heal. Give yourself the time that you need, at the time that everybody else wants. You have to be okay for you. It's not about anybody else's opinion. And no matter where you messed up or what someone else got away with, do not beat yourself up because you didn't know until you knew. And don't worry about being embarrassed. I always would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I don't know, whatever else, and I would just feel so guilty. And so, like, beating myself up, like, why did I let this person get away with this? Why did I not say this at this point? But you know what? You know better now. So the next time you get an opportunity, just do better. You can never change the past. And that's how Satan tries to get us. He tries to make us feel like in the past we didn't do blah. Well, in the past we didn't know. And if you knew and you made a mistake, now you know never to do it again. So allow that to guide you into your future so that you could allow God to use you for the benefit of the kingdom, for the benefit, because He only wants what's best for you. And the only way He could do that is if you get rid of cynicism, your negative thoughts, and you forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for you and the people who will meet you in the future, your spouse, people that you work with, your children, because they need the best version of you. And forgiveness, they always say, isn't just for the other person, it's for you. It's true. This is for you. Do the inner work, because you being your best self is a blessing to other people.